Hello and welcome to Eurogas Let's Talk. I'm Bronagh O'Hagan, joined today by Eurogas President Didier Holleaux. Didier, thank you for joining. Important that we check in at the minute, and perhaps to begin with, you'll share your thoughts quite broadly on where we are today.
So, first, our thoughts are with the people of Ukraine who are suffering a lot because of the war in their territory. Second, our thoughts also go to our customers, domestic customers and industry alike, because the current level of prices is absolutely dramatic for a lot of them. And we as a gas industry cannot be insensitive to the suffering of our customers. We represent a lot of the gas value chain, and therefore it's important that whenever the Commission or the Council of the European Parliament are putting a new proposal forward, we are trying to improve this proposal, make it workable, and that we react as rapidly, as constructively as possible to this proposal for the good of the energy industry, but of the European industry at large. And that's our role, and that's the way we are trying to face this crisis in Eurogas.
Mm-hmm. I think what you've just said, thank you Didier, I think it reflects very well the internal conversations here. So we know what we mean when we say constructive, but perhaps we elaborate as well for the viewers.
Yeah, constructive really means that we recognize that we are in a kind of emergency situation which has been lasting for the past 6 months or so, and that in this kind of situation we cannot just stick to our traditional positions, but we have to recognize that in emergency you may have to take measures that you would never dream of in a normal time. And let me just take an example. We normally would not consider any kind of profit-sharing mechanism to be fully appropriate. But we must recognize that when the prices are going up so rapidly, so that the government has to put in place aids or subsidies for the domestic customers, well, on the other hand, if some energy companies are making huge profits, there should be a way to compensate one with the other. Mm-hmm. So it's a kind of constructiveness that we have to have in an organization like Eurogas to face this situation which was unheard of and that we have never experienced before.
Mm. Yeah. Personally, I was pleased to see Eurogas support this, and for me that was an important move towards building consensus.
Yes, I think it's important that we in Eurogas are not seen as being in a purely defensive position, which could be construed as just defending natural gas as a fossil fuel. We have to show that we are on the European side, we are part of this community, and we have specificity as a gas industry, but we need to show that we are part of this community and we are trying to do our best to help the European economy to get out of this crisis in the best possible position.
And we talk as well about keeping an eye on the long term.
Some of the traditional things we were doing has been reinforced by the crisis, like improving energy efficiency, like developing biogas production. It's very clear that Europe would be better off if we were able to accelerate the energy efficiency efforts and also accelerate the biogas production.
There's a lot of movement at the minute and plenty to digest. I have the feeling myself that we have a long way to go. So maybe just to close, you want to share your thoughts about what the coming months and years look like?
Well, Really, I don't know how the crisis will develop because we are completely in uncharted territories. What I can say is that things which were unthinkable a few years back could become a quite good solution to manage this crisis. And let me take just one example. Joint purchasing that did exist in Europe in the 80s. And then we developed the free gas market and we get rid of joint purchasing. But today, to face the crisis, the European Council said in March that we may need joint purchasing. And then the Commission started working on it and we had a dialogue trying to tell them how it could work and how it should be put in place. And now, on the 18th of October, they put on the table a regulation when there are concrete steps towards joint purchasing. And we will be constructive. We will help them to try to make it workable, to make it efficient, not to destroy completely the gas market, but combine this joint purchasing with the long-term necessity of the gas market. That's typically the example of how Eurogas should react in this crisis. And I hope we will be able to do that on many other topics, and I hope we will be able to convince the European Council, the European Parliament, the European Commission, that what Eurogas brings on the table is very constructive and it's for the best future of the European industry.
Thank you, and thanks also for taking the time to join today. Thanks to our viewers for watching. Please do tune in again for the next Eurogas Let's Talk.